Afternoon all. I just thought I'd do some flying of the Hubsan X4 and compare it with the new Banggood supplied Eachine H7, which is the little one on the right. So let's start with the Hubsan and see how controllable it is. So I think I'm getting a bit of ground effect here, but this thing just tends to want to drift a lot. I could set up the trims, but you can pretty much hold off the drift by just holding your hand on the controller. So that one's okay. Let's go to the little Eachine. It's very lively, very light, but a bit livelier than the Hubsan. I suppose that's just because of its weight. It's very stable, doesn't yaw, doesn't drift too much. I'm having to make small adjustments to keep it under control, but it's pretty good. Right, so here's the same thing again, and I'm going to try and keep the controller in shot as well. So let's go for the H4. Just rotate it a bit there. Being bigger, it's just a bit more stable. But as I say, it does tend to drift quite wildly if you let it. Okay, over to the Eachine. Very lightweight, quite lively, but very stable. And I never dared do this on the Hubsan, but let's see if I can do it. Oh, that was a flip. Yes, I've lost control. And now I'm going to do something completely mad and try and fly them both at the same time. Obviously I can't control the cyclic on either of them. I'm only going to be able to control the collective or the throttle. Whoops, I've just pressed something. Let's give it a go. No, it probably wasn't a very clever thing to do. So which of these do I like best? Well, I like them both actually. I've done quite a lot of outdoor flying with the Hubsan X4, and it flies perfectly well outside as long as it's not excessively windy. Indoors it's fine, but it's just quite large and does tend to drift a lot. The little Eachine H7 flies indoor perfectly great. The remote controller is a bit noddy really. These lever stems are so short. It's quite difficult to get good control. Certainly the Hubsan has much better control levers. But as I say, this thing's incredibly stable indoors. I never dared do flips on the Hubsan. This thing, you can get away with them. You often hit the wall when doing them, but it's pretty good. So what I would say is if you've got a micro quad like the Hubsan and you've been looking at the nano quads, yeah, definitely get a nano quad as well, because there are just subtle differences which will help with your flight training before you move on to a much bigger craft. Cheerio!